All right, what is the deal,
What's going on,
nation?
man? What is happening?
Yes, sir. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our peoples pulling up. Welcome to another episode of Good Morning Raiders. We got a fire show for y'all today, so let's go ahead and kick things off, y'all. Infamous Raider Rundown. Appreciate you.
My God, Cheeto Linus. Appreciate you.
God,
Chris, protect the shield.
good morning, brother. How you doing? God, Lunatic Raider, Raider Legion.
Hey, what up?
What up, Lo? What is good? What is good? None other than our God.
What is happening? What
Oh,
is going on? What is the deal, man? Make sure you guys, you already know the spiel, man. Make sure you guys are tapping on that like button for both the channels. As you already know, man, you are here for the Good Morning Raiders podcast as you are every Saturday morning. So tap on them buttons. And you know what I say all the time, man. If you're feeling what you're hearing, tap on the subscribe button as well, man.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute to all of our peoples already here and everyone pulling. Appreciate everyone tapping in with us on this beautiful Saturday morning, wherever you guys are at, whether you guys are at home, whether guys are at work. Hopefully, we're making the day better and bringing you some fire content to you guys, as always, with fire guests. Appreciate everyone pulling up with us this morning. Really quick, before we go ahead and get into it, on a quick side note, for anybody who tapped in with me or with my guys on Wednesday, we were trying to go ahead and do this fundraiser for one of our for somebody in the nation, Raider 24 Nation. He's been on a few shows in the chat. His son, Little Raider, is currently had heart surgery. He's had he has heart issues, and he's been dealing with a few surgeries for the last few years.
Mm.
So, my shout out to my guy Raider Jeff. He set up a GoFundMe account for him, which I got pinned up in my which I got in my chat. If you guys want to go ahead and make a donation, go ahead and hit that link. I'll go ahead and put it over here as well. Um, for rundowns, every dollar helps, whether it's $1, $5, every little bit
Yep.
helps. This goes out for them directly, does not go to us. This will help with, like, you know, just a little cost as far as hotels, for fuel costs, for the doctors to go do their
Yeah.
doctor's appointments and whatnot.
Anything helps, man. Anything helps. As y'all know, anybody that's got kids, you done been in the hospital a lot, man. You already know how taxing that is on the mental state too, man. You already know what time it is. So anything that y'all can do to help ease and alleviate that pain, man, definitely it will help. So appreciate y'all as always in advance. But reiterate, hit the link if you want to donate specifically to the Little Raider cause. All right, don't super chat. do it through the link. Because if you super chat it, we can't touch that bread until a certain amount of time, right? And that is not for us. Like Jay said, that's for Lil Raiders. So make sure you go ahead and if you want to donate, hit the link.
Yeah, that super chat. We're not getting into the full specific, but we have to split that with YouTube, and it takes a while for us to get it. So if you're really serious about donating, make sure you guys click the link, and I'll go directly to them, and we'll go ahead and chop it up at the end of the show as well. And I'll give you guys more in depth as far as Little Raiders update as far as the surgery went and all that stuff. But let's go ahead and get into it. We have a fire show with a fire guest today. We have quite a bit to talk about. Things have popped up over the last couple of days, and we definitely need to go ahead and address them. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and bring our next guest. This dude has his own channel on YouTube. He also has his own site. He is a writer. Make sure you guys check out planetraiders.com. You guys seen him on a few shows. Shout out to OLV Network. He's been on there. He's been chopping up with our guy Wasted. But let me go ahead and bring out none other than Big Mike Raider in the building. What's good, Mike?
Man, what's going on?
Good to see y'all, man. Thanks for having me on the channel. Shout out to the chat, man. It's been a long time coming, man. Thanks for having me once again. Let's get into it, man. We got some things to talk about.
Oh, yeah. It's about to be real today, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and kick things off with Christian Wilkins injury update. All right. So yesterday, Mitch Renz broke a story saying that looks like Christian Wilkins is going to need another surgery. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So now, whether it's true or not, that's the thing that we kind of have to figure out, and nothing's going to be publicly said by the Raiders organization probably anytime soon. So if this is a real thing where he might need surgery, and before we even get into that part, there's some conflicting stories. I know you said it on Twitter, Ron, that there's some things that are conflicting. I did a little digging. It looks like this is not really big news, but whether there's some validity to it, that's the question. Paulie actually put out a story back in April of this year, right before the draft.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned that there's been serious concern over Christian Wilkins' foot injury, right?
Yeah.
He put out the story basically just talking about the draft, how the Raiders could possibly go after Mason Graham because of that injury. Say Chris Wilkins underwent surgery to repair a Jones fracture he suffered in Week 5 that was placed on the injury reserve, missing the remainder of the season. He may need to have an additional procedure on the foot, and sources tell me Wilkins committed a significant portion of the 2025.
And that was in when?
That was April 24th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's had to clarify that.
Yeah.
For people that ain't listening.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Now, we don't know whether he's already done the surgery and he's just rehabbing it, or he needs a surgery. And from what I've heard out there, and again, this part is the rumor part, is that the Raiders are kind of pushing for him to get that surgery, and he's very reluctant. He's very reluctant on doing so because he kind of wants to play on that injury, or he wants to kind of rough it out and play on it.
Mm-hmm.
If he does get that surgery, he's literally going to be out majority of the season. What are we thinking? How does that look? I know me and you talked about it pretty extensively, Ron, but let me get Big Mike's take on it. What are you thinking when you're hearing that?
So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, right? You go out there and you play, then now you're risking injury. Now you're risking your career. Let's just be honest, right? Those foot injuries, those last a lot longer for a guy who's about 300 pounds, pushing off with that kind of power that he's pushing off with. It's going to be difficult for him to kind of overcome that. We saw that with Tyree Wilson. When we drafted him, he wasn't ready to go when we drafted him. It took him damn near 2 years to kind of get anything from him, first off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that side, right? And then there's the second side. If he doesn't play, then we're now as fans, we're like, yo, bro, we paid you X amount of money. You know, even when we did pay you last year, it was looked at as not a good contract, right? That's what a lot of the experts said, that this contract wasn't a good contract. And it's now being proven if he doesn't play, right? If he doesn't play to the level everybody's expecting him to play, it's being proven that they were right. They were right, absolutely. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I would say, yo, sit it out. Sit it out. You know, the critics are going to say what they're going to say regardless, but we're going to need you when you're healthy. You're not worth a damn if you're going to be out there at 40, 50%. The get off is not going to be there. The power is not going to be there. You're not going to be that fringe pro bowler type D tackle that we're going to need. And then plus we got some youngsters at the D tackle position that can handle business and kind of come in there and do some things. Maybe not at the level that you're doing it, but can actually get the job done and be functional. We got Adam Butler who can handle some business. I like the rookies that we did pick up. I think that he needs to sit it out and kind of just rest, kind of get that foot right, and then come out 100% when it's time to go.
Yeah. Honestly, man, from what I heard, this is from just going around the sources. This is why I said on X, this is like confusing. So you hear that from Mitch, right? And you know, people, you can say what you want about Mitch. Everybody in the comments, it is what it is. We done had him on the show, and I've spoken to him as well on some other things. He's not just gonna put that out there to put that out there, bro. He's just not gonna do that. Right. I'm just be honest with you, bro. So all of y'all can have y'all personal feelings about whatever it is, but he's not going to just say what he said, knowing how big that story will be, just to bullshit y'all. It's just not gonna happen, bro. So then from there, right? So he got to know something, but only in that standpoint, on the other side of it, from other people I'm talking to, I hear that the screw in there got broke in the foot because he tried to come back too soon, but he should be ready by week 1. This is what people are saying, right? This is what I'm hearing from the other side. But in all that, in the gray area, in the middle is where I lie. And what Mike is saying right now, he's not going to be right this year, bro. Regardless of whatever side you want to go, he's going to be ready for week 1. Because if you're telling me you think he's going to be ready for week 1, as it stands right now, it don't look like he's going to get much of a training camp. And we know, right, for a 300-pound man to not be conditioning, to not be out there getting physicality reps during training camp, it's going to take a long time for him to come back and be how he's supposed to be, right? Exactly. He can come back, right, with no training camp, and everybody, you can sit there and say, oh, he's a veteran. I'm not worried about it. Dog, he's 300-plus pounds, not conditioning, not working out. You feel what I'm saying? He's going to come back. It's going to take until, like, damn near week 7 to see, like, the real – and that's if. Yeah, if. Yeah. So – I personally, if you think he needs that surgery, get the surgery, dog. Get the surgery and don't play this year. That's where I'm at. I'm right with Mike, bro, because him trying to force that injury, you can't mess around with, especially with a large man like that, bro. You can't do that because that will, like Mike said, his career is going to start hindering as you continue with that foot. I'd rather him take this year off, dog. It's Pete Carroll first year anyway. We all knew what it was. Right. I wasn't expecting playoffs and shit like that. I just personally wasn't. I just said building year. You feel what I'm saying? Let's build and let's be better. Yeah. Okay, we understand that. Now, next year, for sure, I expect playoffs. Next year, we win you know what I mean? So it's like, all right, let's do it, bro. So I'm with you. Let him sit out this year, chill. Let the youngins get some work, right? So when we go in next year, they got experience with the veterans, and now we can mix it all in and really make a strong push like we supposed to.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I am in total agreement. We said it before. If he's not going to make it to training camp, most likely sit out the rest of the year. Right? There's no need to go ahead and really try to really push. The competitive side of him wants to come in and wants to tough it out and play on it. But you got to look at the long-term aspect and really what it's going to do for our team, and not only for our team, for himself as well, for his career. If he pushes himself and doesn't get the surgery and tries to ride it out, he could seriously injure himself and potentially end his career.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a medical doctor or anything, but from what I'm looking at, the Jones fracture is very in a critical place where if this is your foot, that's kind of like right here, right below your toe.
Bro,
Yeah,
how
like
can you
joint.
push off like that? You can't
push
push
That's
off.
where your power comes from.
Yeah,
Especially
300 pounds, bro. Like that's a
Mhm.
lot of weight. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and the way he moves, you know, that's a lot of power going into that joint, into that, you know, that muscle, the tendon. You know what I mean? It's a lot of power that's generated from there. And if he's trying to continue with that same kind of power, he's gonna end up injuring himself again.
And y'all let me know, like, and y'all, bro, especially in sports, it's even the mental hurdle of saying, like, okay, I can push off like I'm supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, because you're thinking about it. You're with that type of injury, bro. You feel that every time you want to do something, you feel that. So
yeah,
it's a mental thing he got to get over too.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So if he hasn't gotten the surgery and tell him, hey, you need to go get the surgery. This is a betterment of career. Do it. 2025 is going to be a wash, unfortunately. Yep. Come back in 26, healthy, strong, ready to go. You know, you don't want to push these things. And realistically, it's looking like we're 26 is where we're starting to make the playoffs and really going up
that's it anyway.
Playoff run. This is where he really needs to come in and shine. But if he tries to go ahead and really play on it and really force himself, and mind you, like just like Ron said, he hasn't had any sort of practice. I think what he's doing right now. I think he
ain't been working out, dog. You can't work out.
Yeah, he's just lifting. But you can only do so much with lifting. You still need to go out there and do reps. You need to go out there and work out. So he's not really doing that. So how effective is he really going to be? Right.
Yeah. Facts.
That's my thing.
He has a no team injury clause in his contract. No reason monetarily for him not to have the surgery if he needs it. Dog, if you need that surgery, there is no question marks, dog. I'm telling him to get that surgery, bro. Stop it.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and also, man, you know, I also got to put out there, man. I remember that article back in April when they were talking about Christian Wilkins' injury and all that stuff. I even put it on my show. I was like, hey, that sounds like a bunch of BS to me. So I have to put it out there. You know, I got to apologize to an extent because I was like, you're clickbait. You know what I mean? You know how it goes with us Raider Nation. Yeah, everybody out there uses us to kind of get the traction, get the traffic going. I thought it was a bogus kind of, you know, article or whatever coming from a credible source, some guy who I've never heard of before this. So looked like he was kind of on the right track, but still, I got to put it out there, like, man, just in case, you know, everybody's listening to us. You know what I mean? Like, believe it or not, people are listening. You know what I mean? A lot more people than what we think. So I'm gonna say, all right, you were right to an extent, man. I'll give you that. You know,
I will say this. I was on the same track as you, Mike. I was. And the thing that turned my antennas is when Pete came out there and he gave the answer he did when they asked him about Christian Wilkins. The way he was like, it's long, challenging process. None of that. Yeah. And if you really watch Pete, he's always like positive. You know what I mean? Like he always saying positive things about somebody, or he tries to spin it in a positive way. But there was nothing positive Pete said about Christian Wilkins. Nothing that made me say he's gonna be ready soon or nothing. So I was like, all right, this is bad. This is bad.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
If Pete wasn't capping, he's keeping it 100.
No,
that goes to tell you the concern over his foot. I mean, the guy's been in a boot the whole time. He hasn't really gone off the foot to like do anything majorly active. Maybe he's walking around the house without the boot, but that's different. You know, he's not really doing anything crazy. But
now let me ask y'all. I'm gonna ask both of y'all this question. If Mason Graham was there at 6, do you think they would have did that instead of Ashton Genty? Now I don't care. It's not like because we got Genty now, so I don't give a damn now. But do you think knowing this, do you think they would have did that?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if you saw Mason Graham as of recently, man. The dude's a wobble body, man. Like the dude, he isn't moving the way people thought he was moving. I thought that the other dude, the one technique next to him in Michigan, Kenneth Grant, I thought he was better. I thought he was better than get enough due. I think when we look back at it, we're going to see Kenneth Grant had the better career over Mason Graham over in Miami. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think that we made the right decision. I think regardless of what was going on with Christian Wilkins, we would have made the same decision.
Okay. What you think, Jay? You think it would have been different?
No, I think they still would have gotten Genty. They were so high on Genty. They've already kind of had that pre-notion, like, hey, we're going to go after this guy. We just need to make sure he is a guy. And he basically checked all the boxes. So their whole thing was Genty. Now, would they picked up a DT earlier? Yeah, they would have. They would have picked up probably in the third.
I wanted to get
round picks
buddy that Arizona picked up. What's his name? What is it from Ole Miss? That Walter Nolan. I was like, damn, he was slipping, bro.
Yeah. They would have gone higher to pick up a DT instead of waiting until the sixth round.
Yeah,
they were picking up third, playing one in the third, one in the fourth, and that's kind of how it would have went.
Yeah. Okay. Freight Train seems to think we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
I think so too. I think we're gonna be all right with him. I mean, Adam Butler. He does a lot of things that don't show up on paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he'll be there to take on a gap. The linebacker comes in and makes the play, right? He does that very well. So I think we'll be all right. I have faith in these rookies that we did get. Tonka Hemingway. A lot of people are saying some good things about him. JJ Pegues.
I really like Pegues.
So, I think we should be all right, man.
There you go. Yeah. So, there you go. Who steps up at DT? And that was my kind of next question. But really quick before we go into it, shout out to my guy.
Yes,
Jeff,
sir.
Gifting 5 Just Raider Baby memberships to my peoples over here on my channel. Appreciate you, my guy. Salute.
Y'all just made
memberships.
I mean, I get it. He didn't look good in the OTAs and in the clip, but damn, man, he ain't put no pads on. Shit, can we wait until the man put pads on and be like, yeah, we dodged that bullet there?
We don't. I didn't say all that.
Say that yet.
Oh no, but he looked. Been looking. I heard he wasn't in good shape going into like his.
There could be some of that. There could be some of that. I got to see what it looked like in preseason. Now in preseason, I don't see him get no push and all that. I'll be like, it was there.
Right.
As far as this question, bro, I'm with Mike and I'm with y'all in the fact like I like the rookies. We're just gonna have to ask Tonka and JJ to basically do what Christian Wilkins would do. Like, you know what I mean? Like both of them is gonna have to step up and fill that role, to be honest with you. Which is fine. Me personally, I like Pegues a little bit better. That's just me. Even watching his film and all that, I think he got a little bit more in the tank there. So I think Pegues can actually get in there and he can play a lot of spots, bro. Like Pegues can damn near play all 5 spots on the line if he wanted to. So there's that. I like Tonka. Tonka to me is a little Adam Butler clone, a little bit to me. Like, he looks like somebody you would play like, behind Adam Butler, let him learn and get that role what Adam does. And Pegues is more of that. All right, dog, you can do wherever you good at, dog. We're just gonna see where you good at. So that's where I see it there. But I do like him.
Yeah. The dude that we haven't mentioned, I'm gonna put it out there right now. Lualu.
That's another one.
Be another factor. He had a really solid season. Yes, last year. Yeah. He's gonna get definitely now more reps.
For sure.
Whether or not Christian Wilkins makes it at training camp, I don't think he's gonna be out there as much as you think that he's gonna be out there. They might pull him back a little bit, just like, you know what, we're gonna see how this injury kind of works out, right? That's if he's not if he's washed for the season, he's done for the season, definitely gonna see Lalo more. There's be a rotation between him, I think Hemingway, and then Pegues.
Hey, my guy Chewy's NFL News and Podcast. I think he brought up Tyree Wilson. That's somebody that we got.
I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Now,
man. How do you
I guess this is a question. This is a question also for the chat too, right? Are we out? Are we out on Tyree Wilson? Are we giving him a chance? This is his payday year, right? The third year is kind of like where you start like, okay, this is somebody we're gonna keep, or this is somebody we're gonna let walk after the end of this. I think that he plays better at the 3 technique. I think he would be a good defensive tackle if he learned how to use his power. He plays, I've said this year after year for the last 2 years. The dude plays football like a basketball player.
Yep.
He doesn't have the aggression that you're looking for.
Nope.
He has the body of a gladiator, but he plays soft, right? The get off isn't there. He has all the physical traits to where it seems like he would be elite at the edge position, but he just doesn't have that secondary move. So if you don't have a secondary move, let's put you at the 3 technique. Maybe you can use that bull rush and some of that physical strength that you do have, or it seems to have, and maybe put a little bit of weight on. Maybe we can put you at that 3 technique and see if things work. But, as far as him being an edge, I think that's already said and done. It's done. I don't think we need to.
He ain't got the quickness, bro. He
doesn't have that quickness.
That bend, you know what I mean, that you're looking for on the end. Or even, like, if you're not going to have that, like, you at least got to have that aggression like you're talking about to be able to say, all right, I got that power. I'm going to lift him up off his feet and get him back here, So for him, and it's funny because I just watched, like, some film of him 2 weeks ago. And it looks like he stinks every play, bro. Every play, it looks like the ball is snapped and he's like, okay, I got to do this. Okay, now I'm going to go do this. And he's got to think about the move or whatever he got. Bro, it's like, dog, just go. Just go. There are times where if he just goes, he'll already have the dude off his feet with the initial bull rush, like we talking about. Off of that, bro, don't think. Swipe, move, bro, move the hands. You feel what I'm saying? After that, then you can get past him easy. Off of there, bro, he doesn't. It looks like he starts thinking. Then he gives the dude time to recover, and now we're in a stalemate. Now we're just doing this.
If you know anything about defense, man, you gotta play as it being a second nature. Has to be a second nature game for you. Like you can't be thinking too much out there. It's gonna show on the field. And you're right. It looks like he's thinking too much on the field. Like that's kind of my problem with him. But move on the inside, man. He shows a good bull rush.
I agree with that. I think
I'll say he shows
like to work.
Yeah, she shows a good bull rush. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. A lot of the criticism with Tyree Wilson comes from the fact that we passed up on Jalen Carter. That's really what it comes from. So, that's if we got Tyree Wilson after Jalen Carter got picked, I think we wouldn't be so hard on the situation. Now we'll say that it's not working out right at this point, but we are very critical of Tyree Wilson because we had a guy in our laps who could be he's an all-pro guy. We had a chance to get him and we moved on him. We moved over, So that's kind of where the criticism with Tyree Wilson. I'm still gonna give him a chance, but playing edge isn't gonna work out for me.
Yeah, this is
what? Or did he get bigger? I'm trying to see if he got bigger.
Yeah, my man looked like he had full 3 technique now, man.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
he needs to put another 9 behind that 9, bro. Yeah, wearing number 9.
No cap. Hey, and this is the other reason, man. Cheeto know everybody that be on the rundown know, man. He owe me some bread. All right, he owe me $20.50 specifically. All right, he messed my parlay up. So
man,
I need that.
Yeah, he start causing money, man. Yeah, that's.
I either needed a sax, or I need the bread back. But either way, bro, it's got to get paid. One of the two.
Facts.
Tyree thinking and being slow is no bueno. This is, bro. That's why I'm telling you. That's why last year to me he looked slow. First year was foot to me. The first year looked like it was injury, and this motherfucker like he got to get back.
Right.
Last year it looked like okay, I'm back, but I don't trust certain things. I don't know if I trust myself doing this yet, or whatever the case. This year, bro. Like you say, it's money year. It's over. After this, bro, you either gonna say you're gonna let the contract run dry and just let him go somewhere else, or we might start thinking about an extension. So he's got to do something. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. Shoot, Christian Gonzalez too.
That's who I wanted.
Guy.
That's who
another guy. Yeah.
We could have had a corner already, bro. Now we sitting here, and hopefully we hope Darian Porter is the guy, but we looking, man. It looks like we ain't been able to select a corner since we've been looking around there. All these we've been having bad luck.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been tough. It's definitely been tough, man.
Oh, rotation for sure, 100%.
There we go.
Do y'all think more of a rotation or more base defense?
Yeah, we need rotation. I mean, that's what a lot of these these teams are doing now, man. You're not seeing two guys running the brunt of the defense. You know what I mean? You need fresh bodies out there. Just the pace of offenses now. You need multiple guys out there that can get the job done.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah. Really quick, shout out to my guy Jeff. Can we take a flyer on Clowney? Salute to my guy with the $2 dollar.
I'm gonna let Mike start off. Start that off.
I think that we're set at the edge position, man. I think we're all right with the edge. I don't think we bring another dude in at the edge position. What we do need to do is look at another D tackle. I'll say that. You know, now, you know what that looks like. Who's a free agent out there? I'm not too sure. I'd have to look into that. But Clowney, nah, we don't need him. You know what I mean? Now I'll say this: if our guy Malcolm Kuntz doesn't deliver the way we think he's going to deliver, then that's when you kind of, you know, you need to do some heavy evaluation on our guy right up to the point where the season starts. Now, if you're in training camp and he's not looking like the dude, then maybe you want to start giving a guy like Clowney a call. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but that's if you really feel like you got a chance to at least compete and make the playoffs, which I think the Raiders think they can. I know you're saying this is kind of a build year. We're not expecting the playoffs. I think in that building they expect to make the playoffs this year.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, so.
I don't want nobody looking at me talking about, oh yeah, we're just trying to build it. You working there? Like hell no, like nah.
Yeah,
this is just my opinion.
And the front office is gonna operate as such. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like, all right, well, we need some more depth. We need a guy who's gonna deliver at this position. You know, let's bring in Clowney for a 1-year deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's all about evaluation.
I agree with that. You know, you got to see how Kuntz is looking coming off that injury. We're hoping that we not seeing no, decline in the play. So as of right now, I would put faith in Kuntz. I mean, you re-signed him and all that. Personally, I would take that type of veteran money, try to get Justin Simmons. That's me. I think we kind of need a little bit more help back there as it stands in the back end for safety, or maybe get another nickel or something. But I would probably do that for the secondary. But yeah, during training camp, we got to see how Kuntz and them is rocking.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of secondary, I'm glad you hit on that point, Ron. We talked about it before. Jalen Ramsey and the Dolphins working on the trade, right? Now, a new thing popped up yesterday that might change the perspective. You know, he put out there that he kind of wants to go to a West Coast team. He's not really interested in staying back east. He wants to come out to the West, right? Only certain select teams are out on the West Coast. You know, Chargers. They got the Rams and us. But recently, this was put out yesterday by Vinny B. Ramsey not on the Raiders' radar. Now, Vinny B had his mailbag yesterday, and he took a question about Ramsey. And somebody asked, Ramsey is not on the Raiders' radar. Could Hilton be someone they look at? They asked if there's any serious rumblings about adding Jalen Ramsey or Mike Hilton. And Vinny comes back saying, Ramsey is not on the Raiders' radar. Hilton could be someone that they look at. So the insider, Vinny B, saying that changes things, because we talked about for the last a month about Ramsey coming over to the Raiders. If that is true and that's not on the radar, because what it looks like that they're really high on Darian Porter really becoming that true CB1.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Who could be the options at secondary, right? Could it be Shaq Griffin possibly coming to the Raiders? He did meet with them, I think a week ago. And then there's rumblings about Mike Hilton. What do you guys take on having those two guys, and then even just Jalen not even coming to the Raiders?
You know, I'm gonna say this, man. I think that the guys that are in the building right now is what we're going to be looking at, who's going to be playing those boundary positions at corner. You know what I mean? I think that's where I wouldn't say set at. That's where they're content right now with what we have right now, right? Now, as far as Mike Hilton, as far as Shaq Griffin, be a excellent ad at the nickel corner position. That's exactly what we kind of need right now for them to be in that kind of role. You know, I don't think Jalen Ramsey was ever really a possibility. I think for us, it was like, you know, he said years ago he wanted to be a Raider, right? He wanted that's what he wanted. We kind of stuck with that. But, you know, it's got to go both ways. Does this regime that we have right now, do they think he's a fit in the locker room? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and I think that there's some truth to it. You know, Vinny B, he's not going to say something like we said. He's not going to say nothing to just say it, right? It doesn't fit with the culture that they're trying to build. So that's also a big piece of trying to bring in another guy through free agency. You got to fit in what's going on right now. Can't just bring in a guy, you know, that doesn't fit in. Then you're going to mess up the whole harmony of the locker room, especially a guy that's, you know, an alpha like Ramsey is. He's a leader. He's a guy that you would put a C on, you know, as a captain. You know what I mean? So that would be a big culture change. And maybe the Raiders are like, well, you know, maybe he doesn't fit what we're trying to do. Nothing against him, but this is not what we're trying to go. This is not the route we're trying to go. So I can see him going to a team. I can see him going back to the Rams. He wants to go to a West Coast team. I can see him going back to the Rams. The Rams are in Super Bowl mode right now. You know, and Ramsey, you know, if he's going to go somewhere at this point of his career, he's going to want to win. So I can see him going to the Rams. I can even see him going up to the 49ers, you know, and going there for 1 year and kind of doing his thing over there. But, you know, besides that, like, those are the two teams that I would see that would fit with him West Coast wise. I don't see him with the Chargers. And you know, it would fit with us if the money's right and the culture is right. Like, he fits in what we're trying to do, right? He's not trying to step on anybody's toes or anything like that. I think it would fit.
Yeah. Main thing is I believe what you know Mike touched on at the end there is it's the money. And you know, I think we talked about it too, Jay. You know, from everything standing, the Dolphins are trying to get people to take on his whole contract and get premium draft capital. So obviously, like, we're not doing that, right? Like, that's way too much. Yeah, so it would make sense. It would make sense why the Raiders say he's not on the radar anymore, because it's like we're in this phase where we're trying to get this team better, and that does not help us for the future. He's a good player, of course, because if you can, I've been pounding the table. If we can get Jalen Ramsey, I would do it 100%. I think he'd be, like you saying, that alpha, definitely a number one corner, somebody that Porter, Richardson, all these dudes definitely can look at and be like, all right, that's how it's supposed to be done. You know what I mean? And still be there. And I still think he's a top 10 corner. Other than that too. So there's that. But at the end of the day, you know, could it be feasible? It's all for the money portion of it. Because I think the football portion of it will work. I think the football portion is easy. Some people even say safety. Maybe about that if you can do that for him. But it's all about the money, what you got to give up. So it makes sense not doing that. Nickel is where we need to go for sure, though. If we don't end up doing that, like you saying, we're pretty content. There's competition on the outside corner spots already. You got Eric Stokes, DeCamry Richardson, Jakorian Bennett, Porter. You got all that, so you're fine. Right now, like, the de facto starter for us is Darnay Holmes at the nickel. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not cool with just going into the season with that. So you know what I mean? Like, so I would rather. Okay, if you sign Mike Hilton and he beats out Mike Hilton and he's better than him, then sure, so be it, whatever the case. But let's get some more competition in there so I can see who's good. Because right now, I don't like de facto in no position to nobody right now. Your name ain't Max Crosby or Colton Miller or Geno Smith. None of that, bro. Like, everybody else got to work for their spot at this point right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it looks like Chen is gaining some more reps in the nickel. I don't know if anybody's heard that out there. I don't know if you guys heard that, but
then who plays safety if he goes down there?
They're bringing him down. Yeah, they're bringing him down like for a few plays here and there. Yeah, and I believe it's Palmao too. Well, I think both of those guys they're getting looks at nickel, so they're bringing him down from the top in certain situations. So Chin is getting some looks at nickel, so it looks like that might be also another route that they're probably going to be doing, showcasing different packages, with bringing Chin down and playing nickel.
You know what's great? You know what's great? what I'm sorry, bro, but you know what's great? What we do have is Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham, he doesn't have a system where it's cookie cutter. Like we just need 2 corners, we need 2 safeties to do this. No, he molds it according to what we have already in the building. So Jeremy Chin, a guy like Jeremy Chin who can go in there, play in the box. He can play the nickel. He can play the big nickel. He can play linebacker because he has the size to do it. He could the type of defense that Patrick Graham is going to run. He's going to showcase Chin a lot. He's going to be everywhere on the field. He's going to be a Where's Waldo. You're going to have to account for him every single play. Where's our guy at? I can see Chin being a green dot. That's how serious it is. So. You know, maybe a nickel corner like Darnay Holmes being a de facto starter, like you said, right? Like that's not the best scenario. I agree. But, you know, the way that Graham is trying to mold this defense, maybe it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Right. Because he's going to make some adjustments. You know what I mean? We're going to see a different variation of what Graham has ran in previous years, I think, because we got some different looks this time around. So we're going to see some different looks this year. Hopefully we do bring in like a Mike Hilton for that nickel corner because we do need one at some point. But, you know, I'm confident in what Patrick Graham can do. This dude should be a head coach. So
And this is the thing. This is why I brought this up earlier, because if that's your plan, right, because I could see them saying, especially PG, I trust Darnay Holmes because I've been with him for a while. He's been with him with the Giants and et cetera, et cetera. So he knows them. Okay, I want to put Chin in there. That's why I'm saying probably take a look at Justin Simmons, man, because if you really want to put Chin down there and have him do all those extra things, let's get somebody back there we can trust. At least, I mean, I'm not saying Palomar, you can't do that either, but at the same time, there's not many times you could just say, all right, bro, just Palomar, you play back there, and that's it. You feel what I'm saying? Because he's never really done that either. Let's keep it a bean. His role before that has never been center field safety. It's always kind of been that box type of safety as well, because he was big and he was playing strong and we had Merrick. But if you bring in somebody like Justin Simmons, you can have somebody that has experience doing that. So that's now it's like I don't have to ask Palomar at the beginning of the season when he's kind of out of his depth at the beginning where he's never really did this. Now he can ease it in, bro. Now we can kind of roam around the field like we supposed to.
Right.
Oh, Severe in the building, man. What up, big dog? What's happening?
Severe, my boy, man.
What's going on, fam?
Yeah. Salute my guy.
Hey, true story, man. Hey, he works down the street from where I work. I gotta give my guy. Yeah, small world, bro. Yeah,
wow. That's crazy.
I gotta give my guy Severe, man. It's been a while, man. Shout out to Severe.
Yeah, that's the family, man. What's going on, bro?
Yes, sir, man. Sir, for sure. Shout out to our guy Severe. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they get Hilton or Griffin. I think just kind of reading into it, because relationships matter to this team. Relationships matter to Pete.
I already guessed what you're gonna say.
It might be Griffin. And that might be the guy who we bring in.
I can see that.
Within the next few weeks. If realistically we're not going to go pursue Jalen, it's probably going to be Griffin.
Now we did just sign Jermaine Pratt though, so think about that, right? And now you do have an avenue to Mike Hilton now to be like, hey, dog, come on over here.
There's that connection too. Yeah,
you could say that.
Yeah. Yep. Shout out to my guy Marcus Banks, really quick, for becoming a member over at Just Raised Baby, part of the Just Raised Baby fan. Appreciate you, my guy. Salute. Yeah. That might be a thing. I've been saying it for a while. You've heard me. I think they're gonna wait out Jalen to see if he gets cut. I think if he gets cut, it's gonna change things. Now the possibility of him actually coming over becomes a little bit higher, because now you're not having to go out and give up draft capital or give up player or give up compensation on top of his contract. Now we got some more negotiating. Now it could be more on the team friendly side. That's if he gets cut. I think that's going to be the play, because I think with the mentality that Pete has, that we're kind of good right now in a sense where they really like Porter. We got Eric Stokes really coming along. So it's really between Stokes and Porter right now. And then you still got Jakorian. And I wanted to go ahead and put out this question from Dan Massimo to him. Do you guys think Jakorian's going to take a step forward, or do he needs to prove himself, prove his worth in the NFL?
Man, I think
a yes or no question. This is why I got to, because if we got to stamp something down, I'm going to have to stamp something down today.
Yeah. I'm going to say yes. He's going to take a step forward. I mean, he's got to stay healthy. That's really what it comes down to. Now, when he was last year, when he was on the field, the dude was nice.
Right.
The dude was real nice. So when he got hurt, that really hurt our defense. Like with him
Bro.
Not on the field, it really hurt our defense.
Mike is spitting facts right now, dog.
Man, I'm telling you, man, Jakorian Bennett is gonna be that dude this year, man. I think he's gonna like at the end of the season, you're gonna have him regarded on a higher tier than what you have him now, man. It's not gonna be is he gonna step up? It's gonna be in next year, is he going to make a Pro Bowl? That's what I think about Jakorian Bennett.
Okay. Now, for me, right, and this is where I always start with that, and my boys, Leo gets mad, Chris get mad, and everybody else get mad, but it don't matter, bro. Since he's been drafted, he ain't finished the season in 2 straight yeyears, right? And if you're talking about CB1 talk, can't happen. You can't have your CB1 missing the last 4 or 5 games of the year.
That's fair. Yep.
Because guess what? We're all talking about playoffs, right? When you think you got to make the push at the end of the season, bro. If you don't have your CB1 at the end of the season, like Mike says, our defense is hurt. Now you got to play Jakorian Richardson. And now we watching Quentin Johnston get 200 fucking yards when he shouldn't get 200, right? So, again, there are dominoes that fall to this. This is why he needs to stay healthy. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, my thing is this. That's my only concern. That's my only concern with him.
Right.
But now coming into the season, I get to reading these tea leaves, and now I see Eric Stokes and Darian Porter taking first team reps, and now I get to scratching my head, and I'm like, why? Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now everybody's like, well, Jakorian was working himself back from injury and all that. Pause. I say this all the time. Before he got on that press conference and said that about his shoulder, not one of us knew that. None of us knew nothing about his shoulder. Until he got out there and said something about that shoulder. Now, all of a sudden, he's working himself back from injury. No. He's been out there mini camp, OTAs, and all the extra. We ain't heard nothing about him being out there or I'm out because of my shoulder. No, we ain't hear that. So why are we hearing from a guy who all of y'all keep telling me, man, top 10 corner last year? So why is he not taking first team reps? And he was here last year. That's what I'm saying. Eric Stokes wasn't here last year. Eric Stokes learning that same new defense that Jakorian's learning, right? So is Darian Porter. Darian Porter was taking fucking classes last year. So again, we can say all this and that, bro. But
it's not too much of a new defense either. It's not too much of a new defense either.
Yeah. You think it'd be to his advantage? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. You already have PG. You already got your DC didn't leave. That's the next thing. Like it's the same DC. It's only the change of coach, which again we know has a preference in his corners. Like we can say this and that. He has a preference, bro. He does. So he would rather play his taller corners than the shorter corners. The only way to me, Jakorian Bennett is going to start if he leaps and bounds better than these taller and guys, because he can't say he's faster than them, right?
Yeah.
All of us have been here run a 4.3. Jakorian Richardson, Darian Porter, Eric Stokes. We all run a 4.3, bro. Only difference is we 6'3", 5'10". That's the only difference.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, oh man, like I want to see Jakorian Bennett. I know his story. I know his backstory. I know he came from the JUCO route. I have a soft spot for the JUCO guys. You know what I mean? He was a 0-star guy coming out.
Right.
He made a name for himself in Maryland. I'm rooting for the dude, man. You know what I mean? And when he is on the field, the dude's spectacular when he's on the field. But the problem is, like you said, which is a good point, the man can't stay upright, man. That's a problem.
You have to. We just got rid of a nickel because of that. I mean, we don't have a nickel because of that very problem, dog, because Nate could not stay on the field. And we said we cannot give you this type of money for somebody that don't stay on the field.
Literally, we just passed on Gary Alexander for that same reason. He went over to Baltimore, but he's injury prone because everybody's like, we should go out and get him. We're going to be in the same situation where we would have got maybe 7-8 games out of him at best, right? So that's why they were like, "No, we're good." And so
now where I would be comfortable is right and see shit. I didn't even know that. God damn, Eric Stokes ran a 4.24.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
see, where I'm comfortable in is that it's competition, right? So
Right.
if Jakorian does end up starting, you're saying, all right, bro, like we're seeing that progression and we're seeing him compete. Because as of right now, he's not starting, right? So
it's true.
We would see him start taking over somebody's reps and doing all that. That would make us feel better. But it's hard, bro. It gets hard because we all know ball. We've been around ball, bro. When you feel like you're in that uphill climb sometimes, you can even feel it. I feel it from right here, just where I'm sitting. Like being in training camp and God damn, they just drafted this motherfucker. Yeah, they saying it's competition, but they just drafted Buddy 3rd overall. They want him to play. Stop it. They want Porter to play. Only other dude you could look at is Stokes because he just got here. So you gotta get in with that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Really quick, shout out to our guy now, Matt, gifting 5.
Hey,
Red Down memberships.
Yes, sir.
Salute to fam. Appreciate you. It helps to keep the lights on. Appreciate you, my guy.
This is not hoping he fails though, because people will see me say this and like, oh it's not that, bro. It's not that. No. It's just we gotta read tea leaves and just be honest with things. Yeah. That's it.
And that goes for anybody that we talked about. Even you know, we talked about Tyree Wilson, same thing. Like, hey, we want him to succeed, bro. He's a Raider.
Hey,
for sure.
Mike, I was public enemy number 1 when it came to Kuntz last year because I was like, y'all want to pay him this big contract. And we've only seen him do this for how many games? I'm just being real. So like,
I was with you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Y'all want to pay him Von Miller and all this extra money? Like, no, we're not doing that, bro.
Yeah.
This was perfect.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. But kind of moving on to our next subject, our next topic here, Brady and Darnold. So there was something that was put out the other day. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. All right. Shout out to my guy, Raiders Resistance. Salute to my guy. Always fire content. If you don't follow him, make sure you guys head on over to IG. Give him a go ahead and give him a follow. So he put out something the other day from Mike Silver over at the Athletic. Mike said this. It said, while some believe that Las Vegas Raiders would try to sign Darnold, minority owner Tom Brady, a 7-time Super Bowl winning quarterback who chose option held great sway, was not in favor of that approach, according to a source familiar with the franchise internal discussions, per Mike Silver over at the Athletic. So, if that, what do we think about that? Because I know that there were some people out there that were kind of pro Darnold coming over to the Raiders. I know I wasn't one of those guys. I was very trepidatious about that, especially his performance late last year, when it really mattered. They had the opportunity to go ahead and win the division. They had an opportunity to win a playoff game where they actually played in neutral ground. They didn't even play away. They did play away, but they didn't play at the Rams Stadium at SoFi because of the wildfires at the time. They moved that location over to Phoenix, so they played in Phoenix instead of LA. So they had a little bit more advantage. Didn't have so much of the home crowd, but having kind of fell flat on those two performances. I was very reluctant on him coming over as a Raider. Like, really, how good of a performance can he really do? Is he really going to go ahead and shine when it counts? My take was always no. So hearing that, what are y'all thinking? And then we kind of going back to, because there's a lot of wishy-washy with Brady saying that I'm not involved with the process. I am involved with the process.
Wait! Before you go, Jay. What did he say when they asked him about Shador on the podcast? That motherfucker said, "Hey, I'm not involved.
I'm not involved. I'm not involved with the whole draft process or evaluations or anything."
Straight to y'all fucking faces, man. Hard, bro.
Oh man, hey Brady, you're not gonna be able to say that too much longer, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You know what I mean? Like, man, I mean, He's like, hey, I don't have no say in this, but we don't want Darnold.
It makes no sense, bro.
Man.
I don't have too much input, but I don't want Darnold. That's
Nah, I thank God, Tom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, most of us knew. We knew it ain't gonna be right. And this is that's like a Raider move of old, bro. We signed that type of quarterback to that type of fucking money. We figure out year one, it's not right. This ain't good. So I'm glad they did that. We got a better quarterback to speak of it. Geno's way better than Sam Darnold. You can argue with your mama. It don't matter to me, bro. Geno's better than Sam Darnold. So I'm good.
Yeah, you know, and I'll say this, man, for the people that are on Sam Darnold's side, right? Just to play devil's advocate, he's younger than Geno Smith. Geno Smith was kind of in a position at that time, you know, at a younger age where if we signed Geno Smith 4 or 5 years ago, we'd have been like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So there is time for Sam Darnold to improve, to get, you know, maybe in his 30s, and you're looking at him as a guy that you would bring in as a bridge like we got with Geno Smith. But Darnold, dude, like he had 3/4 of a good season. We saw him fold with the Vikings. So that wasn't an option for me. And that's under an offensive coordinator who makes a lot of quarterbacks look good. A lot of that's a good offense. So, you know, don't really make that judgment based on what you've seen last year with the Vikings. He's not going to do that in Seattle.
No,
let's be honest.
You don't have Kevin O'Connell. You don't have Justin Jefferson and all this extra, dog.
Right. So, you know, it would have been a bad move. It would have set us back another couple of years, man. I'm glad we didn't do that. And Brady, if he's not being that guy, he's saying that he's not making decisions. I think in this case, if he's not making decisions and somebody was like, hey, how about Sam Darnold? He was sitting back. He probably stood up, was like, hell no, and I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have no say, but definitely not that dude. How about that?
My God, bro. Like, hey, Brady, I see how he moves, man. He like to say one thing and to do some other shit. Bro, he's been involved the whole time. Literally from step one. Oh man, the new regime in here, man. They got to watching film with Tom Brady, and they watch film in the court. Remember, they say, "Oh, hey, man, they watching film at Aiden O'Connell." Next day, oh, we on the phone with Seattle. All right, man, we got to get with Geno, man. We got to get with Geno. All right, cool. We get that done.
Like, I like Geno, cool.
Bro, Mark Davis comes out there and says, "Oh, we're gonna listen to Tom when it comes to quarterbacks, man." And even Pete said it. Then after the draft. I had no idea there. I wasn't even involved when Shador got picked, man. I don't even know what the fuck they was doing in there, dog. I have no idea. Now here we go. I told y'all I didn't want Sam Darnold. I didn't. What the fuck? Tom, we all know what you're doing, bro. Stop this.
Yeah. You even had good old Pete saying, I think right before the joke, we're in contact with Tom all the time. We definitely taking his input in consideration.
This only strengthens my thing where I swear to God, like Spy Tech and Tom probably got this little thing where they try to be secret and Pete just too honest, where they be giving him that look like, dog, you fucking it up, bro. Like, what are you doing? He's just too honest, bro.
He's just too excited, man. He gets too excited. And
that's it, bro. We can't tell Pete all the plans, bro. Just don't tell
him. Gotta keep that dude in the dark sometimes. But I mean, it's surprising that, I mean, in a sense, I'm not surprised that he was no on Darnold, right? And he's played against them, for a couple of years before he decided to go ahead and retire. So, I mean, having him to go ahead and make that kind of like input, saying, hey, you know what, I'm good on him. He's not the guy. Was probably the best move, right? We got Geno, and it's Geno moving forward. It's probably the best position we can go ahead and be in with Geno, having the familiarity with Pete. This is the thing. You're gonna see a different version of Geno this year. I think you're gonna see a more rejuvenated Geno this year because now he's back with Pete. He plays better with Pete, and that's the thing that some people don't get. I know Rock is not high on Geno, and I get it, bro, because his performance last year wasn't the best performance, right? There's questions on his interceptions, questions about him on the red zone. But now this year, everything's changing. You got Genty. Literally, that ball is going to be taken out of Geno time once we get into the red zone, especially if Genty's as advertised, which it's looking that way. This guy is going to go ahead and be your workhorse. This guy's going to go ahead and make those touchdowns happen. We haven't even talked about Brown Flowers or any of the guys out there as well.
Yeah. You know what, man? Like a lot of people. I don't think this has been said. I haven't heard it, but Geno Smith is going to be under Chip Kelly, and if you remember back when he was at West Virginia, he was under, I think it was Rich Rodriguez. He threw 10 touchdowns in a game. Geno Smith threw 10 touchdowns in one game. I seen it.
Damn. Yeah.
Like the dude was a high consideration back in 2013, whatever, when he was in college. And going vertical and one of the like pass heavy type of offenses, Chip Kelly can dial that up. We seen it at Oregon when he did it. He can mold. He's a shapeshifter when it comes to the offense. But if they do dial up some passing plays under Chip Kelly with Geno Smith can get the job done, man. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to see what he can do, man. And the interceptions that he threw last year, that was a bad offensive line. That was a new offensive coordinator that, he wasn't familiar with, he wasn't acclimated to. And a lot of those, he was trying to play superhero ball. I saw the film. Yeah. He was trying to make plays in a bind.
Yep. I was just about to say that, man. He's doing too much, right? I think he was doing way too much, and he's trying to get him out of situations, especially in the red zone, where he's trying to get him out of situations where it's like, dog, you can take a 3, you know what I mean, or throw it away here. But like Jay saying, we have Genty, and last year I don't think Seattle had a run game to speak of. They had zero run game to speak of, and Kenneth Walker was damn near out most of the season too. So, I mean, now that you got a running back, you can do that. And honestly, I'm gonna be 100. I think you have more reliable weapons here than he had last year. Now, they had DK, they had Tyler Lockett, they had JSN. Keep it a bean. Mike, you watched the film too. DK not the most reliable receiver. He's a good receiver, but he's not the most reliable dude that you can throw it up to him, but you're not gonna do that. I think Brock Bowers is more reliable than that. Jacoby Myers, if you want to talk about Tyler Lockett and all that, Jacoby Myers is on the same level. If you talk about reliability,
it's a 1 for 1.
One for one. The only X factor would be JSN and what they have, but we just drafted 2 dudes, right? So who can be that young receiver that comes in and takes that off
a lot of people are saying some good things about Dante Thornton, man.
I know. I'm hoping that we're not getting Brian Edwards PTSD, bro. That's why.
Man, we was excited about Brian Edwards, man.
Yeah. He made a couple plays in them games, dog. I was like, okay, we on our way. We on our way, and then I just don't know what happened, bro. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, Bash is pretty solid, and
I heard nothing about Bash. Maybe I'm tripping,
he's been pretty quiet.
He hasn't been signed either, too. So I don't know if that it plays a factor, but
yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, and speaking of that, I mean, just to really touch on Bash, because I know there's people who've asked about the whole Bash thing. So this is the thing. Houston and the Browns gave their second round picks fully guaranteed deals. Yep. So when that happens, that literally turned the whole league upside down. It fucked shit up. There's a whole market. Everybody's kind of paid on what the other guy was based on, and kind of sets the trend.
Right.
As far as what the ceiling is, and then you go down from there. And that's kind of where we're at. A lot of the second round picks around the league have not signed their contracts yet, and they're just trying to get either fully guaranteed deals or as much as they can get guaranteed. And that's kind of where we're at. So Besh is a Raider. He's good. But as far as right now, it's a little bit of a waiting game. I'm pretty sure that's going to be all taken care of within the next few weeks before training camp or right at training camp. So just get everybody a little bit update on that. But kind of moving along to our next topic here, Pete Russell. So Pete was on the Get Got podcast with Marshawn and Mike Robinson the other day, and Mike and I watched it last night. Mike asked him towards the end of the show, like about Russell, because Russell's name came up, and he asked him flat out, like, "Y'all good?" So this is kind of Pete's take on Russell and kind of what his mindset was during Russell being a free agent. So let me go ahead and kind of tap into that really quick.
You and Russ good, Coach?
Yeah, we're doing fine. Like I told you guys, I stay in contact with the guys.
Okay,
as best I can. And so Russ was one to call you, and so I've heard a lot from him, and I stayed in contact with him throughout, with the same thought, just trying to help him, just trying to help him through. Gino and I were talking during this last year too, and just trying to help and be there for him and continue to support him, because nobody knows those guys as well as I do, and so if I could be there for him or answer some questions or kick him in the butt or whatever, And really, there was a chance that, that with Russ coming up in free agency, that, we needed a quarterback. So there was conversation, in that short amount of time there before we got Gino that, who knows, there could be a shot. So
reunited and it feels so good. Huh? Y'all was about to be reunited, huh?
Yeah.
I love it, man. You
Right. So
to me, man, that sounded like kind of he was probably the backup plan if we didn't get no cap.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like Russell Wilson he's almost on that same tier, maybe even below Geno Smith. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been cool to see that them reunite, because you did see a lot of success with the two in Seattle. They were always competing for a Super Bowl or in the playoffs when they were together. So it brings you some high hopes, but towards the end of that, you got to remember, towards the end of that time, it got really sour. So there's a reason why it didn't work out. They didn't continue with that. So, as you get older, it is not going to get any better, right? Like, the time kind of passed already. So I'm glad it didn't go that route, because we would have been we would have been very disappointed.
I know the Steelers had a cool year, but I was arguing about this all year. I didn't think Russ was all that great last year. I thought he was cool, but there are certain things that certain things he's doing. I'm like, bro, he's only going deep and throwing curl routes. Like, he's not doing like much other than that, dog.
Right. Yeah, part of his game was kind of improvising outside of the pocket too.
See, he'd already know, bro. I would have been talking shit the whole year. I ain't gonna cap. I'm talking if we would have did that.
Yeah, like improvising out of the pocket. He's getting a little bit older. He's not as fleet-footed as he used to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
so,
That's
he's losing a big factor of his game. If he's gonna be that pocket statue, that's gonna be a problem. He's only 5'10", 5'11", or whatever how tall he is.
Yeah, he's on the short side.
Yeah, so that I don't think that would have worked with what we got going on, man.
Yeah, I agree.
No, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think he was plan B. They were considering it, but realistically, how serious were they? I think it was just Geno. I think their mindset was Geno, and to me, once when Pete bumped into their GM, Seattle's GM, on the plane going to the combine, I knew, like, all right, some shit has to be behind the scenes here. And then when Geno's name came up, I'm like, okay, now it all makes sense. Like, that's really where the conversation started. Like, hey, what do you guys think about Geno? What are you guys looking like this year? Are you guys really going to go ahead and keep him around, or are you guys possibly willing to move on from him? And
let's keep it a beam, bro. Russ probably playing C or D, because I think Geno was B. Because we wanted Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford. Yeah. Hell no, not Sam Darnold, but Matt Stafford.
Boy, they wanted Stafford. I would have took that 100%. I would have took Stafford 100%. But hey, I'm cool with Geno. Where we at? Oh, I know.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it probably was C or D. You're right. C or D for sure.
I would have. Oh, hey, appreciate you, Jay and Galindo, my guy, man. Been a minute, man. Appreciate you. Rick Rock in the building too, man. Appreciate you for coming through as always, big dog. You already know what it is.
Oh my God.
But yeah, bro. I mean, I think at the end of the day, bro, dominoes fell where they supposed to fall. We didn't give up too much capital to get Geno. Ain't paying him too much. So We do, and we all know it's his team, so it's no bullshit distraction as far quarterback battle and shit like that. No, there ain't no fucking quarterback battle, bro. We all know that this is Gino's squad.
Not with this quarterback room, no.
No, hell no. Hell no.
Nah.
No competition up in here.
Yeah, I can't believe that was a thing at some point. I don't know who said
Dog,
that.
now if we would have drafted one, like that's probably why you don't draft Shador either, right? If you don't draft, because then you gonna keep asking all off season, well, how's Shador looking? How blah 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 look, or whatever the case. So just wait for that.
Yep.
Yeah, and that little side note, I think I was looking at Instagram earlier, and they were talking about Shador and Dion, how Dion's putting his fucking 2 cents out there, and there's some people out there already saying like, this is why a lot of teams close the door on Shador, because they didn't want that. They didn't want that distraction from Dion, and so on and so forth. So, me and Run like Shador. We're Shador guys.
Yeah.
We'll wish him all the best, and hopefully it does work out for him in Cleveland.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I mean, he's already doing his shit out there. He got a little slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
A little slap on the wrist. But that does shit like that matters to Pete and this regime here. They don't want shit like that. And that's another reason why they didn't go out and get Shador. That's kind of a focal point I wanted to go ahead and kind of put out there. It's just the whole distraction part, the culture. They're really keen on really building that out here. But kind of staying on that culture note, and I kind of wanted to bring this up. I know you talked about it the other day, on your show. But Henry Ruggs was in the news, a former Raider, former wide receiver, currently serving a sentence on a DUI. I don't know if it was a manslaughter or what the conviction actually was, but he was out there. He spoke publicly. I think they let him go out and speak to the prisoners the other day, and media was out there as well. So I want to go ahead and kind of play a portion of that. And then we can go ahead and kind of talk about should Henry Ruggs get a second chance if we were to make a comeback to the NFL once he gets released. So let me go ahead and play that.
One that I wish I can turn back the hands of time. I would love for them to meet the real Henry Ruggs and not the one that was escaping from something. I sincerely apologize for not only being a part of that situation, but the fact that, not to take a shot at you, but the fact that my face is always in the news. My face is always in the newspaper, so they have to constantly be reminded of the situation, be reminded of me, and see, those memories have to continue to rise because of all of the fame and notoriety that I have, which I never asked for, I never liked. And so I would just tell them that like I said, I deeply apologize for just being a part of that, and I wish that they could meet the real Henry Ruggs. All
right, so that was Henry Ruggs talking the other day at that event for the prisoners, and then the question was asked, like, if he would make a comeback in the NFL, would he consider coming back to the Raiders? And then his answer was yes. So that kind of shows a question that's been out there on social media quite a bit. Should Henry Ruggs get a second chance? And if so, would that be with the Raiders? Let me start with Big Mike. Let me get your thoughts on that, brother. I haven't really talked about it. I know Run's take on it, but let's go ahead and start with you real quick.
All right, man. Everybody in the chat, everybody, us, we got family members who've been in prison. We know somebody's been in prison. Uncles, brothers, fathers, cousins. What you would hope for them when they get out is that they get a second chance to be successful when they get out, right? Mm-hmm. Being in prison is a rehabilitation. It's not a death sentence on your life, right? Yeah. So in saying all that, I'm going to say he does deserve a second chance. Now, with the Raiders, I don't think that it's a good fit. I don't think it's a good fit. He needs to go start fresh somewhere else and do his thing. and should be allowed to be a success. We saw it with Michael Vick with the dog fighting thing, right? He spent his time, he did his time, he rehabilitated, he paid the penalty, and he came back and he revived his career. Now, he wasn't on the same trajectory as he was when he was an Atlanta Falcon. You know what I mean? And we're not expecting Henry Ruggs to be that superstar again, but he should absolutely get a chance to make money and be a productive member of society and be a football player and sharpen his craft, man. It can't be a death sentence on his entire life. The man's not even in his 30s yet. He's like in his mid-20s. He's learned his lesson. You know, it's not for me or anybody to say if he really feels remorseful about what he said about anything, right? He lives with the demons that happen. He has to live with that, right? That's not for us to judge that, right? But if he did the time, he did the penalty, he comes out, he deserves another chance. That's where I stand with that one.
Yeah. For me, because it's a touchy subject, but I'm with you. There are certain things that when it's commented on this subject, it rubs me the wrong way, right? Like when we start talking about, oh, it don't look like he's taking accountability. We don't know that. You're not sitting in them four walls with the gate having to think about that. You don't know what he's thought about already. Absolutely. Number two, we don't know what's been said to the family of the woman either, right? We can all assume all this and that. Has he said it? Has he apologized? Has he did that? How do we know he's not done that already? Right? Yeah. It's probably already happened, right? It's probably already happened.
This just happened publicly. That's all.
Yeah. Y'all want it public. Some things don't have to be public, bro. That's fine. And number three, when we start talking about money and we start talking about bread, pockets, leave that alone, right? If he whatever he now, this is sad to say, and some of y'all are gonna be mad. There is no obligation if he gets back into the league for him to do things with his money. There's no obligation.
Absolutely.
Now, should he? Yes. Should he? Yes. But for us to sit here and demand that he should do this, and that, that's wrong. That's wrong. He can do what he does with his money, see fit. We'll see what he does. Now, this leads me into my point about should he get his second chance with the money and all that. And I think Jay heard me say it the other day. Yeah, I believe he should get a second chance, like you're saying, rehabilitation. That's what jail is and what it should be, not death sentence, like you're saying. And I took a different approach. I kind of do want him to get a second chance here in Vegas. And the reason I say that, it's not nothing, it ain't got nothing to do with the football, it ain't got nothing to do with that. Because of course, he can help us on the field. But how many times we see, and you brought up Vic, and there's a bunch of other athletes, how many times we see them do something and then they go to another city and we run from that and all right, we're just going to push that over there. Now I'm here and we're going to start fresh and do all that. And you can do that. But I feel like it'd be more refreshing to see an athlete say, you know what, bro, I fucked this community up. I did that. You know what I mean? So what I want to do, I want to come back and I want to give to
I like that.
A drunk driving cause. I'm going to give money to a cause in Vegas to help people not drunk drive. You see where I did. You see, I went to jail and I ain't run from it. I came back to show that I've changed and I want to change things. I think that's a whole new refreshing approach, bro. And I understand at first people would come at him at first and be like, you can't come here. You're supposed to do this with your money. You're supposed to do this. But you have to go in knowing that, right? That's what we're not running from. That's why we're not going to Green Bay with Josh Jacobs to chill over there in the cold and all that. No, because we're going to own up to that. You feel what I'm saying? And as we go, y'all, if I make more plays and I start doing what I'm supposed to do in the community, pretty soon, right? We'll all learn to forget. We won't forgive. We won't forget, but we'll forgive, right? We'll forgive to a point to say, okay, we understand. And look at the example you set. You feel what I'm saying? Like in the community of Vegas now look at what you've done. You now can say, bro, I fucked up to the upteenth degree, but here I am still. You feel what I'm saying? I just think for me that would be a little separate approach to it. I would like that.
That's definitely a noble approach, bro. I think that's I didn't even consider that. It kind of goes. You're doing something bigger than yourself in that situation, right?
Right.
And you're definitely righting the wrongs that you did do. And the whole money thing, right? A lot of people are like, oh, okay, well, I want you to give this money up because, well, you messed up somebody's life. Well, I think also in the NFL, it's also an optics look, right? If you're going in there and you're not giving back, after doing what you did, the
That is a
NFL is
fact.
going to say no to you anyway.
That is
You
a
know
fact.
what I mean?
That
So
is a fact.
there is going to be conditions for him to have to be met for him to be to come back. And I think one of those things is he's going to give back to the community. He's going to give a large amount to charity. Those are things that he's going to have to do for the rest of his life. But
that is a fact.
I think that he can do it, and I think he deserves that chance to do that.
Now, and the reason I say that, and this is why it always plays into that. This is why I was glad you brought this up, because I was going to ask this question at the end. Now, I did say he's not obligated to do that with his money, this, and that. But do y'all think that's the type of person he is? I don't think that, because even before he got in trouble, we all heard this is an upstanding young man. This is a dude that you want on your team. I don't think he's that type of person, bro. I think he will come back and say, I need to give back. I need to do these things. I need to do this X, Y, and Z. And this is why I believe so strongly he should get his second chance.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. As for me, I think he should get a second chance. Like Mike said, we've had family, we've known somebody who's been locked up, and we as human beings, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. We've all done mistakes, maybe not to that capacity, but we've all done mistakes, and we all look for a second chance, a chance to redeem ourselves. And I think that's what he wants to. Whether he getting a second chance would be with us, I don't think it should be. I think that it should start fresh. And realistically, looking at it from the actual NFL standpoint, from the football standpoint, though he's working out, they're giving him a chance to go ahead and kind of work out, while he's doing his time. What does that really look like?
That's the question, though.
That's the real question. You can only do so much where you're there. You only have certain things accessible to you, even though if they're giving him a chance to go ahead and kind of get some workout in and whatnot, having him run and whatnot, it's still not the same as he, working out with somebody else. Having him, do OTAs or do mini camp, it's a totally different thing. So if he does come back, I don't think it's going to be at the NFL level. It might be at a lower level. You might probably see him in the UFL. That might be a thing. We just saw Arnett literally play in the UFL and just got signed over to the Texans the other day. And that might be the approach that he might take, or he might play CFL football or go over to Europe. I don't think he'll go over to Europe. I think he's probably going to have to stay in the States. So UFL might be the way that he might have to go. And then we'll probably see him in the NFL later on. If he gets the opportunity where he gets to go to Green Bay and link up with Josh Jacobs, cool. I'm not mad at that. He has to live with those demons. He's the one who took a life. We're nobody to judge. We can have our 2 cents opinion, but at the end, that's his opinion. We shouldn't force it upon him to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. If he's really remorseful and he really wants to repent and really,
it'll show. I mean, that's going to show.
Yeah, he'll do those things himself. And mind you, the family could always be like, you know what? We're going to make sure that he doesn't get all this money out there just to him. We're going to tax him a certain portion. There's always wrongful death suits that happen all the time. It probably hasn't happened yet because he's incarcerated, right? So he can't really do too much while he's in there. But we've seen it happen time and time again. So that might be another thing too. But we don't know yet. But I think he should get a second chance. He should have the ability to go out there and work for a living. This is what he does. This is his occupation. He should have a chance to go ahead and do that again.
Now I know it's tough, bro. It would be tough. Now again, if the family comes out and they say I have no problem with him playing in Vegas or wherever, then everybody else's opinion don't matter at that point. Like if they come out and say that. Yeah. But I don't know, just me. It would just mean a lot, bro. Like can you imagine like he actually rectifies that situation with that family here? You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. And they end up coming to some harmonious thing and all the extra, bro. Like that would mean a lot to this team, bro. Like, and that once a Raider, always a Raider shit would take on some extra meaning to it. I mean, it
It
has
would.
some meaning,
It would.
but that shit right there, bro, would just mean a lot. Like that, I remember when the day that the man had the shit happen, and I remember I was emotional and shit too, because I was like, damn, he just had a kid and shit too. He just had a daughter, so it was a lot that went into that, bro. Like, so it would. I would love to see that just get rectified for real.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and kind of, touch on that subject a little bit, because it has been out there, has been on the news, and obviously we're a part of that. So if the Raiders decide to take a chance and bring him back, cool, so be it. Do I really think that's going to happen? I don't think so, to be honest with you. I really don't think. Looking at how this regime operates, they don't want any type of distraction, and that will be there all the time. That's a source that
the devil's advocate would be, when does this happen? Does this happen year 3 of Pete? Because at that point, like year 3 to Pete, you would think he got that shit on lock, where it's like locker room is good, you know what I mean? Everything is good together. Where you can take that type of risk. As of right now, we can't see it because we're so fresh and we're so new with this regime. It's like they can't do that shit right now. It's too soon.
Yeah.
And at that point, let's talk about football again. Wide receiver might not even be a need at that point.
That is exactly. So you don't even know what's going on with that.
Yeah, exactly. And right now, first off, he still has another year on his bid, so he ain't gonna get out anytime soon. He's not out till like some point in 2026. So for this season, no way. Next season, that's a different thing. And like we said, wide receiver might not be in even the realm of possibility, because we went out and got we literally drafted 2 wide receivers. We still got a draft coming up next year. So
I'm still holding out hope that Gino tell Chip to go draft his cousin or some shit. That's what I'm hoping. Go, hey Chip, get over there, man. Go get Jeremiah, dog. Fuck all the bullshit, bro.
Yeah. So that might be a thing too. So you just don't know, right? You just don't know on the situation that might happen a year from now, 2 years from now. It might be a different scenario where we might not be looking at bringing in another wide receiver. The need might be somewhere else, like Mike said. Yeah, for sure. All right, but let's go ahead and move into our final segment of the day. The spotlight. Meet our guests. So every show, if you guys are needed to Good Morning Raiders, every show for every guest, we go ahead and do the spotlight, which is we take a time to go ahead and meet our guests. And this week's guest is none other than Big Mike Raider. So let me go ahead and kind of start from the beginning here. Let me ask you, how long have you been a Raider fan? And was there like a certain moment that kind of made you fall in love with the silver and black?
Man, so I've been a Raider fan for as long as I can remember. I've been rocking with the Raiders since I could start watching football, and that's because of my dad. Rest in peace. I'll show you something real quick, man. So I don't know if anybody is around my age and has some dads that like to drink, but he liked this beer, man. And every year they would come out with the football guide on the Budweiser box, the Miller Lite box, and all that stuff. So I'll show you this right now, man. This is a 1993 handbook, football handbook, Miller Lite handbook.
Nice.
So it's that. It comes with like the complete schedule of the season, and what my dad would do, he would write all the scores from each week of each game, and he just kept with all the scores and did that. He did that for a long time, for as long as they made those things. I got the 94, I got 95 right here.
Wow.
All the way up to 98 right here. So with Barry Sanders on the cover. So
that's when I was born. So that's my birthday.
Yeah. So I watched that growing up, right? And being a football enthusiast and him just loving the Raiders, man. He had a room full of Raider stuff, similar to my guy Jay, man. It was decked out in Raider stuff, and I followed that, and I stayed with that, and it became a part of me, and you guys know, man, Raider Nation is not just a football team. It's 31 other teams, and then there's the Raiders, man. This is a lifestyle, so I'm wearing Raider stuff in March, April, May. You know what I mean? Way after the football season's over, where everybody else they put their football stuff away. We don't do that. So you know, that's kind of what got me into becoming a Raider. I've been a Raider my whole life. I've been through the ups and downs. I was around I was in high school in 2000, 2001, 2002 when the Raiders, were kind of getting there, knocking on the door for a Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I had a 16th birthday party when they went to the Super Bowl against the Bucs. I kicked everybody out by the end of the third quarter. So, so I've been a Raider fan my whole life, man. I've been through all the trials and tribulations, Tuck Rule, the index card game, Derek Carr from year 1 to year 10. You know what I mean? Like I was there. I saw all of it, man. So that's as far as being a Raider fan for me, man. It's me. It's who I am. I bleed silver and black.
There you go.
Fire, man.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, every diehard fan has one. Who's your favorite Raider of all time and why?
Oh man, that's tough, man. I got visuals, man. I got a bunch of visuals.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm a USC fan as well, man.
I already know where this is going. Then you ain't got to say much more. Yeah, you ain't got to say much more. I already knew.
But
if somebody say USC or Notre Dame, I already know who their favorite player is. Are you talking about that?
But a guy who I kind of molded after, athletic wise, I play football, I play baseball, I play every sport. My guy Bo Jackson right here, man. I got
there you go.
So those are my two guys, man. But I'm a trenches guy, right? So let me put this down right here. I'm a trenches guy. So I really look at guys like Howie Long. I look at guys like my guy. He's our all-time sacks leader. I can't think of his name. Those are kind of my guys. What's that dude's name? It's like blanking right now. He was an LA Raider.
Townsend? Is it Townsend?
Townsend, Greg Townsend. There you go. Greg Townsend. Those are the type of guys that I like, man. You know what I mean? So those are the guys. Those four right there are my favorite. And current favorite Raider right now is I love JPJ, man. I love JPJ.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's going to be the best center in the league when it's all said and done. At the end of the season, we'll be considering him as like a top 3 to 5 center in this league. So those are the guys that I
agree with that. Definitely agree with that, man. He's going to be the next one, man. We've had a nice little history of centers, man. Nice little history.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So I think he's gonna be the next little one, man, because we've been searching for that since Hudson left.
Since Hudson left, we've been looking, man. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. You want to go ahead?
Oh yeah. So I always try to ask the content portion of it. Give the people that be watching this all the time. You know what I mean. Sometimes they just look at it as just content. But at the end of the day, man, there are certain things, when that comes with this that you got to be prepared for, or either just, work towards. So really, I like to ask people, like, what's been the one of the most challenging things for you trying to make content, you know what I mean, all the time? Because I know you've been making it for a minute.
It's this is my third season starting this, right? And I got into this off of some unfortunate situations, man. It was like a silver lining to a dark cloud. I had a really bad back injury that set me down when I was in the Navy, and I was sitting at home resting and trying to recover. And I was like, man, what can I do with my time? You know what I mean? And I listen to guys like, I got to give it up to Mitchell Renz. I got to give it up to especially my guys, Graphic Raider and Wasted Talent. They've been there as brothers to me when I really needed it, bro. Like I was going through a lot of stuff as far as like dealing with my back injury and dealing with those things and trying to find a new normal for my life at that time.
Right.
Just listening to them and reaching out to them, they brought me in and they now they're like brothers. We talk regularly now, you know what I mean? But that was given to me, that was presented to me in a time when I really needed it, man. And that's even more so you add on to the love for the Raiders and Raider Nation, man, because I got so much support from people, and I never expected that, man, when I started this. People like really coming in and showing support, man. That really meant a lot to me at that time. the biggest challenge is doing it when you don't feel like it. You know what I mean? Like you guys can relate.
Yep.
You know, like it's really easy to just turn on a camera and just start talking, right? That's the easy part. But what people don't know, man, there's the production part of it, man. Jay, you do a great job with the production part of it. And it takes a lot of damn work to do it, bro. Like a lot of people don't really know that. A lot of people don't know. So it's the doing it and doing that grind and trying to make your best product when you don't feel like doing it, man. That's the biggest challenge. So and I know you guys probably got some separate jobs outside of this too, you know what I mean? So as for me too,
I gotta make bread, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you know, I got that, and then there's days, you know, I work from I go into work I leave the house at 4:00. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. So you know, I get home 2:00. The last thing I want to do is talk to anybody. You know what I mean? But there's times I got to check in. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's the challenge, man. It's definitely a challenge. And can you pull that back up real quick? Raider Shield family. Retired Senior Chief. Hey, okay, I got medically retired at year 9, man. I didn't make it to that level, but I was in IT. So, but yeah, I got medically retired and landed on my feet, luckily. But yeah, it was definitely a tough time at that time when I couldn't really walk. You know what I mean? So, you know, the Raiders content really it really helped me in a tough time, man, for sure, man.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better off that, man, because that back ain't nothing to play with, man.
Yeah, your boy's back, man. I'm in the gym now, man. Like, we doing it. So, but you know, there was a time where I couldn't do nothing, bro. So, you know, and this content and everybody that was involved with this and the support, man, that really brought life to me, man. For real. Like I'm indebted to a lot of people, man, believe it or not. Like, you know, I got about 3,000 subscribers, right? It's not a lot to a lot of people, to certain people, right? But to me, it means a lot because shit, that's 3,000 people that was like, we fuck with you. Sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. You know?
Hell no.
Okay. You know what I mean? Like that's a big deal to me, bro. You know what I mean? So,
hell yeah.
You know, that's kind of where I stand with that one, man. But yeah, that's my challenges.
Nah, man, I'm glad because it's always, you know, especially with this, you need like that group that's gonna help you. You know what I mean? When especially like you're saying, there are times you sitting in front of the camera, you like, dog, I don't want to press live right now. I really don't like doing this right now. Or trying to come up with the topics and shit, or like, oh, what's something new I can do, bro? It's a whole lot. But either way, bro, like you said, it's just appreciative of everybody watching this, and definitely wanted to give love to YouTube, bro. You know, I was watching you before I even got to the YouTube sphere, you know what I mean?
Oh, man, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, of course, bro. You already know the time, man. So I always like to show love and show appreciation, you know, to the people that's always helping, you know, inspire everybody else to do it as well.
Yeah, man. Hey, we got to, man. We got to support each other, man, for sure.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah. Do you have another question?
Oh no, we good, man. We good. Okay. I think we done gave the people that good content today, man.
Let me kind of start capping off with this. I got a couple more questions. But let me ask you, bro, because you mentioned Graf and Wasted. How did you link up with the Shieldmore guys? I know you have some history. We had our guy Severe a few weeks ago too. He was up in the chat. If he left or not. But he told us that you gave him his break too. You put him on your show when you were doing more actively. Like, kind of talk about that a little bit.
Man, it's crazy how you have like almost a tree, right? Like, you know, you hear about the coaching trees in football, right? It's almost like a Raider content creation tree, right? So, I got with Graf and Wasted. It was mostly Wasted first. You know, he was starting the Planet Raiders thing, and I did some writing when I was in college for a little bit. And so I was like, hey, you know, I'm interested. So we started talking off that. I sent him some of the stuff, and that was it, right? And he had some other side stuff that was going on at the time, and he was like, hey, if you want to come in and talk some ball, this and that. I'm like, well, I've never been in front of the camera like that before. So, you know, I'll do it. I'll try it. And he was like, man, you're pretty good at it. You should think about getting a channel. I was like, I don't know. I was reluctant at first, you know what I mean? So time went on. And I did that, and those guys just kept supporting and showing love and things like that. And it's at the point now where it's like, you know, it goes beyond the content creation now. You know what I mean? Like we check in with each other. You know, we know each other. You know, the family, kids, all that. You know, we've hung out multiple times. Man, I went across the country to go hang out. So that's where we're at right now. And you know, as far as Severe goes, you know, he already had it, bro. And it wasn't anything that I did. It was something that he already had. It was just me like, hey, bro, I'm recognizing that you got some skills in this, man. Let me do what was done for me at the time. Let me pass that down. You know what I mean? It was more of like a, you know, kind of spreading the wealth. Like, hey, I'm at a certain level where, you know, I can help you out. I know some things now at this point. Let me pass down what I know. Let me help you and bless your channel and what you're starting to do. Let me help you in the best way possible. Yeah. So, and he's from the crib too. You know, he's both LA dudes. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I told you, he's literally right down the street from me. You know what I mean? I don't see him nearly as much because I can't step out like that to go see him sometimes, but he literally works down the street from me. So, and we've hung out. We've been to football games together and stuff. Like we saw some high school games back a couple times. So, yeah, Severe is one of those guys that I reached out to naturally. We just became cool, man. It was nothing that I did. It was everything that he did, and I just, you know, kind of just paid it forward with him, man.
Yeah, Fire. Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Let me ask you this. Tell us, what do you have going on? Anything coming out? Any collabs or big content that we need to be looking out for? Yeah. Let the people know what you have going on and where they can find you at.
Yeah, you know, once the season starts, man, we can get things ramped up, man. I'm always trying to improve what I got going on. Shoot, you guys can come by and you know, we can talk ball too, man.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
I'm always open to kind of bring everybody to the show. I've been trying to do stuff kind of on the solo tip just to get people more recognizable to just me. But the best content is when we can all kind of collab and talk ball with each other. You know what I mean? So there's going to be that. We'll get back into some writing and stuff at some point. I'm working on my degree right now, and I'm like at the tail end of that, getting my bachelor's degree. So,
fire!
A lot of the content has been kind of on the back burner a little bit because I've been swamped, bro. I got work and finishing the degree, and I got kids too. So, but once the season starts, man, it's gonna be good, man. I got the membership up. I do film breakdowns. We're definitely gonna get back to those. First thing I want to do is kind of get people acclimated to Jermaine Pratt. So I'm gonna do a Jermaine Pratt breakdown. I'm gonna get back into the lab, and then we're gonna show some stuff what to expect with him. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that one. So hey, stay tuned. We got a lot coming, man, and this season's gonna be fun, man. Way better than last season, I promise you that one.
Yeah, well, let's hope. Let's hope. It was depressing trying to make content and shit every week. It was definitely depressing.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, man, I appreciate you pulling up with us on this Saturday morning, man. I know you have a lot going on. Like you said, you're working on your degree, you got work, got the kids, man. We know about that, bro. It's tough. It's tough. So, but we appreciate you taking the time to go ahead and chill with us, talk some real football, because man, that we love that, and we definitely getting excited for the season coming up for sure. So
appreciate you, bro. Again, man, tapping in, and definitely would love to get you on a solo show too, man. If that's possible, for sure.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, we'll definitely do that, man. We got to run this again for sure, man.
Oh yeah. Definitely. You already know what we say here on Saturdays, man. Make sure you're hitting the like button on Jay's channel, my channel, and Big Mike channel. Right, go show love to the guests as well, man. We appreciate everybody that taps in with us on the Saturday morning. You already know what time it is. Give you your programming, right? Go follow all that extra. Got 3K subs, trying to go ahead, get the 3K subs, giving away that Geno Smith jersey, as you know. I know Jay's trying to get his membership, right? He's trying to get his memberships going.
I'm trying to get my membership, trying to get to 2,000 subs. So we on the way. You know, if you guys haven't subscribed already, what are you guys waiting for? Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. Make sure you hit it on all 3 channels. I got Mike's pinned down in the description. But for
Appreciate
those
you, bro.
channels, you guys can go ahead and show them some love. Tap in for some great content that he will go ahead and puts out. Really quick before we sign out for the day, just want to touch on one more time the fundraiser we are doing for our guy Little Raider. He just had heart surgery the other day. The little tyke, has been battling heart issues since he was born. Shout out to Raider 24 Nation. That's his son. That's Devin. That's his actual real name. His son is Little Raider. That's his actual name, Little Raider. We're not even capping. That's his son is his name Raider. He had a daughter named Autumn when fortunately she passed away. Jeff shared some pictures. I'm not going to put it out there, but if you want to kind of update as far as his progress, hit up Jeff. I think Jeff is still in here. You can go ahead and hit him up on IG or on any of his social. He's on X, he's on TikTok, wherever you guys, be at. But the surgery went great. He's on morphine right now.
Good. That's good.
He's doing good. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to go ahead and put the link one more time.
Yep.
Again, make sure you guys go ahead and hit
the link in the bio, man. Don't super chat it. If you want to donate, GoFundMe, hit the link in the bio, bro. So we celebrating, right? It's a celebration because the surgery went well, man. So that's all we need to know, man. So appreciate everybody, man, if you do tap in with that.
Yeah, for sure. Every dollar helps, whether it's $1, $5, whatever you guys can go ahead and give. It just goes a long way. We're not asking to shell out, $50, $100. You don't need to do all that. Whatever you guys feel is in your heart, you guys want to go ahead and donate. If you want to just send a prayer too, that's always welcome. Whatever you guys feeling. But we just want to go ahead and put out there. This is something that Jeff is really spearheading. I'm helping out. I know Cheeto's helping out. So we just want to bring it up to everybody's attention. And if you really want to go ahead and get an update on his progress, make sure you hit up Jeff. Jeff is in the chat right now. So hit him up and he can go ahead and give you an update offline and shit. So
man, y'all already know. Make sure you keep celebrating. Love y'all, man. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all for tapping in. And of course, we're Raider or Raider 24, right? That's what it is. Is that his name?
Raider 24 Nation.
Raider 24 Nation. Yeah. Make sure you guys tap in with that as well, man. And Jeff said he's gonna be on tonight, so you guys probably hear it again. To celebrate, I always inform y'all with the big back activities, man. It's National Smoothie Day today. So y'all go celebrate everybody's shit and go get a smoothie. Right? Popeyes came out with a new chicken wrap and everybody's eating. Go ahead, man. We on.
That's what you gotta do,
man. I gotta update y'all with y'all big back activities, of course.
Yes, sir, man. You gave me an itinerary.
Hey, I just gave you what I'm about to do as soon as the camera go off. It's over.
Man.
Make sure you guys go ahead and tap in with us next Saturday for another edition of Good Morning Raiders. Next week's guest is going to be Raider D. Raider D's in the building, chopping up with us, talking some Raider football. So it's going to be another fire show. We're bringing fire content, fire guests, week in, week out. So make sure you guys tap into that. Again, appreciate Mike for pulling up with us on this Saturday and talk some Raider football. But until next time, y'all. We will see you, and always remember, go Raiders.
Peace.
Peace.